Because the way Baishikir is trying to explain the way Shandy's speed effect is supposed to work, and based off the way they've explained that background and offline progress works, because Shandy shouldn't work. So if Shandy does, it feels more like a bug than by design. Why is... Folks, I... Yeah, I don't know what just happened there. But that's gonna kill the stream for viewers. Probably. Oh well. I'm just gonna keep going because nothing stopped here and there's no drop frame. So Twitch just decided to go, meh. Like what the hell? Oh, also I forgot to do speed. I forgot to do potions. Trying to decide, Drogo, I'm trying to decide between Evelyn, Jaheira, Avandra, and Nixie. Vastly different champions. Evelyn and Avandra are tanks, Jaheira and Nixie are DPS supports. You kind of got to figure out what you're looking for. You've got Vlithrin in this event, who is part of the awful ones, and Avandra and Nixie are part of the awful ones, so if you want to go affiliation, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, that was not me, folks. I got a loop of, I don't have to help them with that 3 times, and then it went offline. Yeah. That's the best way. The best way to loop. That's the best way to death loop, folks. Like that needs to go. Like when I finally death loop, I hope that's my final death loop. I don't need to help them with that. 3 times and then I die. Been out of the game for like 9 months, was slowly doing some time gates, switched to your speed team mostly, now levels go blinky blinky. Yeah! That's the point, right? And the earlier you can get it rolling, the better, because early on, like, you know, everything's easy to complete. That's why I say, like, you know, your priorities are speed team and stuff. You have, okay, Pima I've got Diana, Calyx, and Vi, and that's it. Okay. You need Eliwick first. That's your top priority, Eliwick. That's here. She's not a speed champion. But that's not why you get her. You get her because she creates extra gems for you. And that's enormous in this game. From start to finish, extra gems. But Eliwick would be the first one to pick up. After that, Shandy. Shandy would be next. She functions like a speed potion when your party isn't under attack. It's a free speed potion. Your thought about Deacon is solid. You could get Deacon. Deacon doesn't need item levels either. He has a spec for speed. Humon. You're going to want to get Humon. After that, that's kind of the order I did things in. And then finally I landed like BBEG and Sentry. I would have done that before Vi, but we got Vi for free. So yeah, like Eliwick needs to be your next time gate. Then like Shandy and Deacon, because here's the reason I put off Humon for a while is because you need to be investing item levels into your Eliwick to build up her gems. Like I did here. I only needed 150 item levels in Diana to cap her speed effect with both of the speed feats and a shiny. I could have done without the shiny, I think. I would have needed a few more item levels, but I could have put the shiny somewhere else. But Diana's super efficient. But then Eliwick, we're going to need to get like, you know, I stopped at around 300. I think I stopped at like 200 the first time and then 300 second time, something like that. And then now we're shooting for like 500. Yeah. All right, BBEG equals big bad evil guy. Technically, yes, and that was the joke. But his name is actually, I believe, Bartholomew Beelzebub Ezekiel Grubb. Did I get that right without checking his thing? Oh, they didn't put that in here. I believe his name, Lurking Rider can correct me. It's, oh yeah, it did. I got it right. Bartholomew Beelzebub Ezekiel Grubb. I knew that was it. All right, here's the problem we're running into. Our speed team now comes to a stop around 600 because we don't have a DPS. So this is where I'm just going to swap one champion. Then we're going to go. So no, BBG is not the Punisher. BBG is a sad, lonely man. Oh, well, elf. Excuse me. Garpocalypto. That's probably more a takeoff of a Jimmy Buffett song from his musical, I think, as opposed to another version of Garpocalypse. Look that one up. Did you all random questions? Did you all know Jimmy Buffett wrote a musical and that the music was actually pretty freaking great? I never got to see it, but I had the soundtrack and then I loaned it to somebody and they never gave it back to me. Is my main stuck? Yes, it is. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. It's got stuck at 1239, but you know what? That's fine because we just had to get to 1200. I just need to reset it and then work on the next one. Trying to do Mahen's tier 4s. I've done them all before. I reset them so that I could get the scales bonuses. I forgot to save. Oh, dang it. I gotta save that with Calyx and with Whittle. Whittle me this. Okay. Update. With feeds, please. Thank you. Okay, and this one's going to go 1,400 areas. Just the mode run shutting off, so it shouldn't be an issue. The last one is going to be the rough one. It's the one with it's like men only. That was a challenge. Sergeant Sorry, what's the best way to get gear item levels on event champions like Eliwick? Blacksmithing contracts. Blacksmithing contracts. So, hold on. We died to the... Okay. This time it's because we don't have a tank. This time it's because we don't have a tank. Die for different reasons, folks. Everyone dies for different reasons. No, hold on. Can I reset them again or only once at the start? Just once per event. Once per event. So yeah, Zealous, that's not okay. Let me address a couple of things. So item levels, blacksmithing contracts, gear. There's 3 ways: events, time gates, patron chests. But item levels can be done at any time with blacksmithing contracts. And that's what these are for. Like, really, is to pump. Blacksmithing contracts exist to pump item levels into event champions that you want to boost. Um, but to try to get like epic gear, chase full epic, it's some combination of an event, time gates, or patron chests. Patron chests, like patrons, a chest from patrons they qualify for. That's how you get better gear. That's it. There's anything else? I mean, obviously you could buy gear out of the shop, but if you're just playing the game, that's it. And I fundamentally disagree with the fastest way being time gates, because you're presuming infinite time gate pieces. Also, every time you do a time gate for the same champion, like in a row, the area goal goes up, and that becomes untenable for most people very quickly. But just know, like, usually out of an event, you get this kind of setup after unlocking a champion event: 5 blues, 1 purple. That's a functional champion, and you can boost this champion with item levels to keep them functional, like 50 average item levels, 100 average item levels, 100 on Kumon. They can be functional for you. Chasing epic is a longer term. Like, we got lucky with Caddy Breeze. She got full epic out of an event, but that was a lot of luck. Everybody else we got to chase with events, time gates, patron chests. Yeah. That's just kind of how this works. Almost there, almost to the finish line. This one is a little more challenging. 750 is a little rough for the speed team. Yeah, though, we got there. Well, ideally, you're farming enough bounty contracts to get full epic on all your event. That's a late mid game and beyond thing. That isn't a thing that. Yeah, that's not a thing that happens for quite a while. Just to be clear. All right, this time we're going 800 areas. 800 areas. I mean, there's all kinds of late game goals you want to have for stuff. Just that, but that doesn't mean that somebody who's new needs to even be considering that at all. Honestly. Yeah, but you're also functionally late game and beyond marking riders, so. Analytica's 3 purples, 3 blues. Based on what you said earlier, she's a priority for item levels. She's a priority for item levels in whites. Let's be clear. You're because boosting her item levels specifically on her slot 2 item, but you don't get to choose, so you just have to boost them all overall. Is what boosts your gem gain. And then the gear rarity is going to help, right? The gear rarity and gilding will help beyond that, as will one of her feats. But yeah, early on, she's a priority target for item levels. Like, you get her to average item level 100 at least, like right away, and then see what your actual speed champions are, and go from there. But like right now, she is my focus to get to 5. I'm going to get her to 500. In fact, these I'm not earning a lot because we're not opening a lot at the moment. Saving up for a speed feat, but all of these are going here for her. Right, and then these are just getting token dumped. Speaking of, where are my gems at? 45,000. So we're trying to get to 50,000 gems for a speed feat. Smelter, hello. Do you know what is the best % discount for the weekly offer? I got a 60 on something. I think it varies based off the type of thing that's being on offer. So like, this is a legendary, like it's the orange outline, that's legendary. So for like a familiar, the best is 50%. But for some things, it can go 60 or even 70. So it just depends on the type. But what you're looking for is like the orange outline. So if you have an orange outline, that's the highest discount you can get for whatever that piece of content is. Otherwise, it's green, blue, purple are the outlines, right? And those are okay, right? Green would be the lowest for that type of item. Blue would be the next highest. Epic would be the next highest. And orange would, the legendary discount is the top. Okay, the Sentry. We need to gear Sentry. So we're looking for, we're really chasing that epic. I think it's slot 3, the redshift item. This one. We got a green for it. That's good. Good start. We'd love to get an epic for it, but if we can at least get it blue. Oh, there's a blue that went to Regis. Screw you, Regis. Yeah. Dump all of her silvers. She gets a blue out of those. Go take a look. All right, we got her green or better out of our electrums and silvers. But this is the one we want to get up, the red shift ability. So now we're already boosted to 43.53%, whereas we were 40% before. Right. Let's see if we get lucky with her chest. No. Hey, there's the blue. All right, we didn't get a purple, but we got a blue. I'm happy with the blue. We're good for now. For the moment. But we're definitely going to be chasing epics on her just to try to get her that epic speed item. That's the one we care about. And now gold chests. All we really care about in gold chests is feats now at the moment. Feats and potentially shinies. In store, I can see I can buy item slot 1 and 2 as golden epic. Oh, for Vlithrin. But if I want to use my golden potions on Vlithrin, it says I can only use it on item slot 1. Yeah, so they unlock... like they have to manually go in and state that a champion has a golden available for a thing. So they've probably made that slot 2 exclusive to the shop right now, to the purchase, and later on it will be turned on for golden potions. We got 80% a while back. Yeah, I think I've only seen 70%, but it wouldn't shock me. I know it's content specific out of the weekly offers, but the legendary, the orange border, is the highest one. Are the drop rates for shinies different between silver and gold chests? No, it's 1 in 1,000 odds, regardless of the type of chest. And there's no pity timer, so you could open 1,000 of something and still not get a shiny. Does Jim or Egbert in slot 7 need more equipment? Jim, probably. Jim. Yeah. Oh yeah, Nathless, we all want the Pantheon for Vlithrin. Yeah. The golden epic. Definitely opened 2,500 gold chests and pulled 0 shinies before. Yeah. It's just RNG gonna RNG. Like you don't know what you're gonna get. Evil Emperor Zerg opened 8,000 chests before without getting a shiny. Yeah. But I know people who opened 100 chests and got like 4. So Like, you know, that's why they say like things like shinies and goldens aren't. They're not guaranteed. They're nice to have, and it's because you can get that power just by putting more blacksmithing contracts on a champion. It's not exclusive power, um, so there's no guarantee to get it. It's just goals people have to try to get everything fully gilded. Got root beer yesterday. It tastes like licorice. Yours is yeah. It was the type you got. Yeah, I'm assuming black licorice, which yeah, I'm not a fan of that. But there are some root beers that go for that black licorice thing. My favorite notes in a root beer are honey and vanilla. But I don't like a root beer that's too sweet, and sometimes the honey vanilla ones get too sweet. Yeah. Finding like the perfect root beer is like for you is challenging, but yeah. I'm just fortunate that at least one of the generic offerings is caffeine free, and I enjoy it, and isn't too sweet for me, and that's mug. That's what I buy in 2 liters. This is a lovely, shocking discovery. I think my strongest DPS is actually Nixie. Wow. Somebody somewhere got 3 epics, 3 shinies, and 3 feats, and 3 gold chests. If I recall, there was somebody that I know for sure people have gotten a double epic in one chest, in one gold chest before, but I think somebody got triple epic once. I mean, statistically, it's going to happen. Right? Random question. If you have item levels on a capped card, like the ultimate cooldown, it says 450 out of 501. Then that card becomes shiny and caps at less than 501 to cap at 251. Those item levels disappear. No, they get refunded to you as blacksmithing contracts. People always wonder, why did I just get a pop-up on my... I just started a new run and I got a pop-up that says I got a bunch of blacksmithing contracts back. What's that? It's exactly what you're talking about usually. Usually somebody had a... like they capped their ultimate cooldown reduction, but then it got shinied, and suddenly they get a refund. Prefer the cans to 2 liter. So do I, but they seem vastly more expensive, and so I go with the... Well, also if I have cans, then I don't get to use this. Yeah. The cans are more the serving size I should probably be drinking. I used to get the cans and I just have 1 can a day. But now I just use the 2 liters and I have one of these, which is way more than 1 can. Bulldog root beer? I haven't even heard about that. I only have available what's in my local grocery store, so I check occasionally to see if they're carrying something new that I want to try out, but yeah. My favorite used to be Henry Weinhard's root beer, but I think when a while back, they had to change the recipes for root beer because one of the main ingredients was considered no longer safe to be drinking and consuming. Whoops. And now that Weinhard's recipe has changed, and I don't enjoy it as much anymore. It has a weird aftertaste that I just... Blacksmithing contracts can be found in chests only. Correct. Correct. The Nixie super form when she goes... No, it's when she gets big. I feel like it enlarges. That Warsteiner mug is about, or let's see, Varsteiner? Is that what we, is about $40 online? Mine wouldn't be that much because, like I said, mine is well used and faded. IBC used to be my favorite, but I'm convinced they still changed the recipe there years back as well. No, everyone that used, I'd have to look up. I looked up for a while, just see like what does it take to make your own root beer. And one of the first things I found is that people had to stop using one of the ingredients. Yeah, sassafras. Um, People had to stop using one of the. I think that's it because it wasn't considered safe to consume anymore. So that changed a lot of recipes. People had to adjust their recipes. It wasn't that like they did it for no reason. They did it because they couldn't use an ingredient anymore and had to come up with some way to get it close, or just accept it, accept a new flavor profile, right? But it was happening to everybody. Probably Mylar, yeah. Are we at 50,000 gems yet? 47.5. What was the feed I was going for? I think it was BBEG's feed. Railroad. This will reduce our area goal even more. I think we already got, we already got the gem feat for Eliwick. What we need for her is the one out of the chests. We have both of Diana's. Ooh, we could get carefully balanced 80% for Human. I kind of just want the BBEG one because then I don't have to think about it anymore. There's also the 50,000 second wind one. I don't think I'm going to prioritize that one. Okay, Calyx needs these. There's a 12.5. If we added oozes, we could actually go a little faster, but not enough for me to have bought that. We don't need one here. We only need one here. There's a 50k Tasty Friends. Again, I think that's low priority, though. And there's a 50k Confidence in the Boss. Yeah, I'm not going to worry. Oh, we're dying. Oh. We're gonna say that's probably because we don't have a DPS. Yeah, well, that's obvious. They don't really. I don't want to get into this, but they don't really ban things on based off what's actually healthy and scientifically safe. That's not how governments work. Should be. It's not. Ah. Oh no, we died again. Oh, so we also need a tank. We also need a tank. And probably some buffing. We got 150 areas to go. So. Love her. Patty Bree. All right. 48,000. Oh, I don't know. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, I got to set up a trials round. We're basically set to. We've got the 3 time gate pieces we need for next week. Or for Wednesday, excuse me. So we're good there. We don't have to wait until the week after. And with these, all we really care about is beats. We didn't get any. For these, all we care about are vials of blood. Scrolls are pointless. All right, we got 3 vials. Scrolls I just care about for the achievements, and I don't care about achievements. So. Yeah, that happens. I remember who I was gonna time gate somebody to figure out. I can't remember who it was. Yeah, and then you gotta like backtrack your line of thought and get there. Yeah. Yeah. Here's a good one. Can you please explain pre-stack and post-stack and how it works? Sure. Yeah. Actually, that's one of the most important like things in the game in terms of figuring out who has the most potential power. Not who is the strongest, but who has the potential to be the strongest. And it has to do with abilities that have multiplicatively stacking effects, and whether like multiplicatively stacking is the good way, additively stacking is the bad way. But then does it a stack pre-stack or post-stack? And when we're talking about pre-stack and post-stack, what we're talking about is, do the bonuses from things like upgrades, if that ability has upgrades, feats, and an item, if they have feats and item support, do those apply to the base pre-stack value? So then that value is what gets stacked multiplicatively, or does the base value get stacked multiplicatively and then all the bonuses get multiplied to it afterwards? So pre-stacking is the OP way. The way that has the potential to be overpowered, I should say. Because there are some pre-stack champions of the game that are like, it's not really that big of a thing. But then there's like, Artemis, who everybody just thinks is like, the bee's knees. Well, not everybody. Lots of people get upset if you don't think Artemis is the best. But Artemis just has the potential to be super high damage just because of pre-stacking. So how do we figure this out? When we're looking at, do I have a pre-stack? I have pre-stackers in the group. Yeah. So BBEG is actually a pre-stacker. He has a pre-stack and a post-stack. So Homebrew is a post-stack. So he boosts the damage bonus of Evil Overlord by 100% for each active potion, stacking multiplicatively. So he actually turns all your potions into damage potions, functionally, right? The more you have, the more damage you get. But his support for this, he has an item and he has feats, but the support is post-stack multiplier. And you can kind of tell because this base value is still 100%, even though we've got gear for it, right? Whereas if we come down to something like Sources of Corpses, boosts the damage bonus of Evil Overlord by an amount that varies based off itemization for each summoned zombie on the screen, stacking multiplicatively with buffs. And this one actually calls it out. It's nice. With buffs applying to the pre-stack value. So the more zombies on the screen, the stronger BBEG gets. And it's specifically because this value is not fixed. You know, it doesn't look like a flat value like this one did, 100%. That was the initial, and then every time you add a gear to it, it goes up. If base value goes up, pre-stack. If it doesn't, post-stack. And you can figure that out with both. Yeah, it could be itemization that gives it that makes it a pre-stack. It can be feats that make it a pre-stack. It can be there could be other things going on with other abilities or something that turn it into a pre-stack. The upgrades, it could have upgrades that gives it a pre-stack. They don't do that often. Yeah, there's lots of ways to get there, but if it boosts the pre-stack value, that's the potentially OP way. Those are the champions those are the abilities we're constantly looking for, because it's very rare that a champion stacks post-stack on a multiplicatively stacking ability and is OP. Is real, well, not OP, but really strong. And the one that stands out there, Karlach. Karlach's really strong. And it has to do with the amount of stacks she can get. Which means, because it's not attached to itemization or feats, she's a really strong new game, early game, mid game champion, because you don't have to invest tons of item levels in her to get her power. It comes from her kit. I say she's a great place to start. But yeah, it's an order of operations thing. You want the multiplier. You want the bonus multiplier to be in parentheses with the base value multiplying, instead of just in the string. Like, instead of having the multiplicatively stacking in a parentheses and having the multiplier from all the bonuses be sitting outside. I never played Path of Exile, so I can't compare it to that game. Additively plus post stack is the garbage. Is absolutely garbage. Additively in general is pre-stack isn't even okay. Additively plus pre-stack is like it's just less. It's lesser garbage. All right, we actually now need a pushing group because we can't get through this. I don't know much, but I know I need damage. That was actually. What was I doing? Not going to work out well. Probably not going to work out well. Get extra judgy up in this. Yeah, multiplicative and post stack. Multiplicative is the good way, and that's, even with a post stack, that's a good ability. That's Karlach. Multiplicative with pre-stack is Artemis. But pre-stack only gets good if you invest lots of item levels in it. I've said this before. You get you can get an okay effect at like 100, but to really come online, 1,000 item levels. And then the next stop after that, like the next big major thing, it feels like 10,000. See you, Shevik. I've got a list of most pre-stacks. I need to go through and review it for recent champions, but my Blacksmithing Contracts 101 lists off pre-stacking champions and which slot item it is, which item slot it is. Some champions have multiple. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they're all good. Again, Not all pre-stacks are created equal. Calyx has a quite good buff, even though it's post-stack. You can get up to 50. Yeah, I mean, you know, the value, again, the number of stacks is important, as is the base value of them. When you're looking at this stuff, that's why Karlach, she starts at 50, but she can get up to 100. And that makes things real good. But Calyx's Unorthodox Alliance, to be clear, is a pre-stack. It's the Chameleon Carapace that's the post-stack. And that's nice. It can be nice. That's what you're talking about. But Unorthodox Alliance is pre-stack. So they have both. They have a pre-stack and a post in the same kit. Yeah, True Peck. I mean, that's, you know, Cass and Desmond is a strong combo because Cass can create all of the dead people that Desmond wants to buff with. Right? You don't want to create them right away. You want to go as far as possible without anybody dying. But eventually, you want everybody dead. All right, let me reset this. God dang it. I don't know why sometimes Epic decides to trigger achievements and sometimes it doesn't, but it gets me every time. So loud. So loud. You gotta be that way, Epic. Question about blacksmithing contracts. Can these on a champion, say Diana, before I have her epics? Absolutely. I did. I've got 150 item levels on her. That came from blacksmithing contracts. She only has 2 epics. The slot itself is what contains all of the bonuses. It isn't attached to a rarity. So item slots have a rarity of gear. You have to have at least white rarity before you can start boosting item levels, because if you don't have an item at all, you know, you can't give it item levels. Once you have minimum white rarity, you can start putting item levels in. And item levels are a second feature of the slot, a permanent feature. You can also have gilding. It can be shiny. A white, green, and blues can be shiny. They'll maintain that shininess forever. No, ad break. I will pause this. We will return. We will return. Didn't notice. I was too busy leveling up champions to notice we went on ad break. Hey, 50,000 gems. Spend that when we get back from break. All right, we're back. So I stopped the conversation. Let's go back. So an item slot can contain multiple things. A rarity of an item. You got to have at least a white rarity before you can start putting the other stuff in. And some other things are going to require higher. Item levels, but you can start putting item levels on once it's white. You can shiny it at white, and that's all you can do. White, green, and blue is shiny. You can't do anything else to it at that point until it's epic. Once you get epic rarity, it can be goldened. That's one of the guild. That's the higher version of the gilding. It can have a legendary effect, and it can have a pigment. So the item can hold 6 different things, and they're all functionally separate, and they can only get better. They can't get worse. All right, so you don't lose anything. If you have it shinied already and then you golden it, the game actually refunds you a potion of polish to use on someone else to make something else shiny somewhere else. because you can't stack shiny and golden. You can't stack multiple shinies or multiple goldens. It doesn't work. But you only get the refund if you go shiny to golden. Okay, we got our 50,000 gems. I'm gonna do them. I mean, this is just the way I want to do this. I'm not saying this is the best way to do this, but I'm gonna get the railroad feet or BBEG. I will take out this. And I'll put in railroad. Now, what railroad does is go choo choo. No, it boosts the railroad ability. So now then the quest requirement reductions are 50%. So we are now, when it triggers between both BBEG and Sentry, down to 8. When it's just BBEG and Sentry isn't triggering, it's at 12. It was at 18 before. And now it's down to 12, BBG on his own. And then we were at 13 before when Sentry triggered, but now it's bringing us down to 8. So this is why I went for this first. Because this can trigger with Humon, who's giving extra credit, right? So now as we're investing item levels into Humon, we can get this down to a 1 kill clear. Like we kill one enemy, we move forward. And that's highly optimal, to put it mildly, right? So, you know, that's ultimately what we're shooting for, is to get to kind of a 1 kill or 2 kill clear. I mean, 2 kill is fine. But 1 kill is the sweetness, right? Fast core can, but it's random, and I don't like random. I'm actually upset that the fast, so the node is up here. You can get to 50% chance to drop double. I wish it got to 100. I wish it got you a guaranteed double, but it doesn't. All right, so we bought a feat. Now, traditionally, I buy a feat and then I buy chests for a while to chase gold chest feats and get contracts and stuff. So that's what we'll do with our stuff for a little bit, and then we'll save up and we'll get another 50,000 gold feet, and it'll probably be for Humon's Carefully Balanced. That's exactly where it'll go next. Yeah. Sweet, I'll use my blacksmithing contracts on Diana and push towards that Murd unlock. Yeah. Again, I think she only needs around 150 average item levels for epic with both of the feats. And that's kind of what you're shooting for. So I think it's safe to go to 150 and then just leave her, and you'll chase those feats later. But she doesn't necessarily have the abilities that you're going to want, like that are like, yay, give me more item levels. Like the first 100 item levels in a champion are the most efficient, and after that it falls off more by diminishing returns unless you are a pre-stacker. So golden only from the shop. The vast majority of them, yes, Mickey, but there are ways to get them from playing, but they're rare or manipulative. Yeah, Elminster has one. We get them in meta events occasionally. Technically, if you get a golden on someone and then they get a dismantle event, you can. There's lots of manipulative ways, but generically speaking, it's cash from the shop is spending money on the game. But again, you don't have to get golden to get the power. You can get that power just from like a shiny and blacksmithing contracts, and you can get shinies in the game a lot easier than a lot easier. A lot of shinies still come from cash, but there's ways to get natural shinies. There's no such thing as a natural golden. I've heard at the choo-choo that I really should. I appreciate that. A lot of these jokes are just for me, but if they make other people laugh, then that's good. Be nice if they allowed us to use potions of shiny, like shiny potions on a shiny item to get a boost in item levels. So what they did is they gave you the ability to break them down over here and turn them into reagents. That's not the same, I know, but I wish when they put the notary out, they had let you break down a shiny potion over here into like 125 item levels, because that's what a duplicate shiny gives. I wish they'd given you both the option. They didn't. No. How are you doing on this other count? We stopped at 1200 again. Okay. Let me switch to a pushing team. Oh god, that's click debuff. Oh god. This is old. This is an Ashara pushing? Okay. What's a Shara push? Good lord. I haven't a Ashara pushed in so long. I think everybody died. Oh. Wow, this has got Balog. This has got Jin stacking in it. Wow. I don't know. Hold on. Is Sharon neutral? Is that what's going on? Yeah. Got Avrin in it. Okay. We got Unicorn Tyrrell. Oh my god, this is so old. Wow. Okay, sure. Whatever. I have some really old formations. Potion of the Gold Hunter worth it, or am I better distilling it for another legendary potion? That's this one. I mean, it's 100%. It's like double gold. Remember, it stacks as a multiplier along with all of these other gold potions, which is interesting, but like in the early game, it's okay, but I find them to be like the least useful. That's not who thought this was a good idea. It's wow, that's old. It was probably the best formation that could be made on the account at the time. But that means it was from a long time ago. So a lot of these times when I'm doing like event stuff or time gates or whatever, and I see these formations, it's like a time capsule. It's like a total time capsule. I mean, Tyrrell in unicorn form, basically tanking form with Ayla up front. That's back when I was on the self shielding infinite, like can live infinitely era, which doesn't really work anymore. Got to Diana level 90, but it broke 2,000 island levels from Mert. Nice. Yeah. On day 16. Good. So immediately unlock Mert. It's worth the 3 time gate pieces. Immediately. And then go do like, I think it's 2 variants maybe. 1 or 2, depends on where you're at. I've got a list in my Patrons 101 guide. Otherwise, you've got to go back, like, or in my new player reference. I think I talk about what I did maybe. But you just need enough to get your, if you don't have your Mojang core, you just need enough to get the time gate piece. And honestly, I think that's really just a good start. And I don't try to chase the Mojang component chest until you get to a burn-ins. You also have to remember when I made this formation, it might have just been, hey, let's do this for fun, because back when I made this formation, there was only one tier of variance, and you were just having to go 125 areas, so I could just have fun. 125 areas in a variant was super easy. But this may have been a pushing. This was definitely a pushing formation. So it was whatever at the time I thought was the best pushing formation that I could make for Mahan. Well, it's just weird. Ashara scales perfectly fine into the late game. And she is double quad bonded. So she's getting triple the bonus. She triple dips. So it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. Them getting Potpourri increase the damage of Shara by E16 and increase the damage of Shara by E16. And then half and half, increase the damage of Shara by E16. So instead of double E16s, we're getting triple E16s. Oh, Ashara. Like, if they had wanted to, like, nerf Ashara, they should have gotten rid of the triple dipping. Three out cross, I actually need. Well, 1 in 3 out is just that's the same as an undirected. I want to be clear. That's the same as an undirected cross piece. But if you get one that's directed and it fits with what you're doing, you want to use that and keep the undirected to be more flexible in other places. Gars just want to have fun, exactly. Oh no, that actually works way too well. That works way too well. Oh man. It was trials and Murd as a patron. Yeah, getting into trials before getting Murd is wild. So that means you unlock Murd. There's gonna be 6 variants in Avernus, so you do qualify for that. I highly recommend that that's what you stop and do with your time, is you try to do those 6 efficient patron variants in Avernus in the order I have them listed in the new player reference in the section for Avernus, in the section for that. Starts with Ragged Raga's crew and then goes down, because those are going to get you like tier. Oh, hold on. Let me go. Wait. Oh God, we stopped on the main account. I wasn't paying attention. We're on the new account. Those are going to get you basically down to here, tier 5 max. If you can do all 6 of them, you'll max out tier 5 in terms of perks, and you'll have enough patron currency to come down and get the familiar and warden if you don't own warden. It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, we need, you know what? Let's just swap in that. Oh, good lord. Okay. Like, let's just swap in the push group. Oops. Yeah, it might be, I'm not going to lie, it might be challenging if you don't have a core yet, even just like one that's a few levels high. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's the potential for you to do it, but it might be a little challenging to do all 6 of them. But Ragged Raga's crew should be a problem. You'll have to do the base versions of them first and then go back and do the patron version. But yeah, that's the first time you really want to stop, and Avernus is the first place to really stop and dive deep into patrons. And it's just by deep, it's just 6 runs deep, like 6. That's it, 6 variants deep, and then you're done. So it's not even that big of a deal. We did all those on this account except for like one of them that we couldn't do with Strahd, I think, because we didn't have the champions to counteract the damage in extreme heat, which was just random luck. It's the first time I've encountered that we weren't able to complete that one on a new account. $32,000 hours. Oh, you mean like on Idle Champions on Steam? Probably. There's people with higher numbers than me. People that were running 24/7 like all 7.5 years. Yeah, I'm at 32,638. But keep in mind that doesn't count all the hours I put into my Epic account or all the hours I put into various like WebGL accounts back when they were still supporting that. That's what I used to do the new player accounts on, was just your WebGL. Okay, where are we going? 850. Yeah, we're gonna run out. I didn't notice that it stopped. I was on the wrong account. I was paying attention to the Ashara account. I should have been paying attention to the other. Only done one variant of Avernus yet. Yeah. So again, just go straight to Ragged Dragus Crew, the base variant Ragged Dragus. The reason we do those variants, that list, is because they allow you to use any champions you want, so they're unrestrictive. They have restrictions, but they're not a big deal, so it should be doable. Sachet Charme, down here. 4K. Let's go. Buy some chests, see if we can get. It is really tempting to do that 25 gold chest thing and get guaranteed feats. What I don't like about it is that there's no chance at a shiny out of it, but maybe we just try it. So what is, hold on, what is it going to cost me? Well, every 12,500 gems. It's just going to straight up give us event tokens, blacksmithing contracts, reagents, dump item levels onto evergreens, and then guarantee us a feat. You don't get any shinies out of it. You have to keep that, but I think I'm okay with shiny being long term. Not something we were going to chase on this account anyway. So, yeah. I think that's what we'll do. Okay, so I shouldn't have spent that money, but oh well. Oh well. Also, as far as the champions go, Vlithrin is in 4 blues, 2 purples. Mahen is in 4 blues, 2 purples. We've got a great start to this, folks. What's her item level? 18, and Mahen's is 22. Yeah, right around the same. Okay. I'm happy with that. Brian Ty, thank you for the follow. So much easier for people now with the apothecary system to catch up. Yes, getting all the speed and fire breath potions. Yeah, I never ran out of fire breath, but I ran out of speed all the time. And the legendary, oh God, this legendary speed potion on this account, the way I play this account, it does so much work because it lasts for so long. Because when the stream is off, I don't run this party. I switch to the other party that's doing currently, what's it doing? Strahd challenges, yeah. With Jarlaxle. But yeah, usually it's doing something else in the background, and so it doesn't burn that potion up. It's great. No shinies, and I think the reagent thing doesn't account for potions you've kept. Well, they haven't added an ability to choose what potions you want to keep yet, but they're talking about that. They want to add to this system to let you select which Like, which potions do you want to actually get loot for? And do you want bounty contracts or not? I don't think that's in yet. I would think it would have been on that screen and not anywhere else. But I'm just checking. Because who knows? Who knows with them? Who knows where they might bury that? I would hope it would be on that screen. Yeah, it's... No, Nathless, so... Again, there's a notary... There's a thing with the notary where you can do chest components. You can basically, instead of buying 25 chests or buying 250 chests and opening them, you just come over here and you spin the gems and it gives you the contents, the equivalent contents. It doesn't give a chance to give you shinies. Currently, it doesn't give you bounty contracts. It just gives you the event tokens. And currently, it doesn't give you potions. It just gives you the equivalent amount of reagents that on average you would have received. It doesn't actually draw any item cards. It just dumps you item levels, but it guarantees you a feat. This is the big plus. Yeah. So there's trade-offs, right? Geez, what the hell happened? The boss got past the party somehow, folks. So, you know, if you don't need defeats, then this doesn't matter. But it saves you, like when you're, you know, if you're somebody who's got you could buy thousands of chests. Instead of buying thousands of chests and opening them, you can just scroll. You can just scroll and get what you want. Like you just drag this over and get it all with one click. What people have given feedback on is that they would like to be able to say, well, I don't want all the potions turned into reagents. I would like to actually still get speed potions to drop or whatever. And then they want an option to click on stuff. And they don't want things auto-converted into event tokens. They want that to be an option to have the bounty contracts as well. And so they've heard that feedback. They haven't added anything. Okay, let's see what happened here. I don't know. She just somehow got past them. With the weird jumping forward, she probably just glitched forward with like Whittle and Deacon somehow. Unsurprising. Unsurprising glitch, in my opinion. Okay, we're just gonna go. Oh, yep. Look at that. Look at that. That boss jumped forward too. What the hell? We don't have a Diana here knocking people into the party either. Is there a trick to the blue she unlock variant? Yes. It's understanding that you're the bully, not the bullywug. I've got a guide for that. If you want more help, go. I explain how that works in the guide. But really the mind trick that I think that made it click for me is that you're the bully, not the bullywug. But yeah, you gotta go in with a plan. You gotta go in with a plan. So if you get a shiny item, it'll just be converted to a reagent. Well, it wouldn't be reagents, that's potions. You can't get a shiny out of that notary system. You can't. I said that. I said that multiple times. There's no chance to get a shiny out of that because it's not actually dropping cards. I specifically asked and they were like, no. But what they did is they tried to factor, they said they were going to adjust the, they adjusted basically the amount of item levels you'd get on evergreens to account for like a dupe shiny. Supposedly. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I don't know after the feedback, I'd have to check if it's giving the proper amount of item levels and things. That was what people were worried about, is the first iteration of it wasn't giving enough item levels for in the blacksmithing contracts. But I know they went in and adjusted it, so now I don't know. I don't know what the call from the Discord from the people that super care about that stuff. I'm still opening gold chests personally, but so if you're still chasing full shiny, like fully gilded on core and evergreens, and that's important to you, don't do that notary system for chest contents. I'm not on this account. I'm not worried about that. I want guaranteed feats every 25 chests. So I'm going to do that instead. Aren't dismissive? I don't know. It should be. Usually percentages are their own separate multipliers. But you'd have to ask. I don't know. I don't use. I used on this account. I used a gold find one, which was nice. But I only ever really use this one, and it doesn't matter because the second I add another speed potion, it tends to be real strong. I don't bother with the math. Oh, geez. I left this Ashara formation and it's past 1500. We only had to get to 1400. So see? Look, Ashara. Blaze it. Blaze it. I would think, though, that it would be... The way it's stated, I would think it would be multiplicative. Okay. This is the grumpy guys on up here. And I have a saved one that. Follows Guide to Grumpy Guys. Okay, awesome. It did not load anybody in. Because it didn't... Oh, man. I didn't save it with familiars. I'm an idiot. Did I... Oh, no. Can't answer some of these questions. Hold on. Stop it. Strong Heart and Gem. Okay. I'm like, who else am I loading in here? Until. I don't care enough to go look it up. Okay, let's save this time with the feeds. Thanks. All right, Bull's Guide to Grumpy Guys is on its way. This is the formation I beat it with, I believe. We'll find out. We'll find out. All right, almost there. 850. 15 areas once we beat Bavlorna. Oh, I hate. Okay. Bavlorna sucks. Bavlorna just yeets people from the party. He's rude. If she yeets, then I deletes. That's what I want to do. Second she yeets, I delete. All right. Feels weird not like spending stuff, but whatever. Whatever. Making progress. Played a lot of Conquest Dark this weekend. That's my current off-stream game. I've almost maxed out all the factions, like faction bonuses. They all go up to like level 25, and I'm almost done with all of them. Uh, there's going to be a lot of. I haven't tried. I tried the main boss a while back. I haven't tried it again. But I now have builds like for all the factions that do well. I'm still trying to optimize. I think there's one faction that I really need to go in and optimize better. That's the last one that I'm working on now. So I may have played a lot of that game now. Still in early access, and there's still a lot of stuff to level up. Like, I haven't leveled up all of the abilities yet. I've just been picking one type of each ability type for each class, basically, which is the factions. The factions are basically classes. And just been, the one that I want, and I'm sticking to that. So I still have to go in and level up all of them. I mastered, or I capped out one of the factions without even getting their abilities leveled all the way up. That was how well I've got that faction gain down. And then there's runes that you can collect, and I did them. I don't know if they have a cap. If they do, I don't think I've capped any. I'd have to check. I don't even know. Every time you loot one, its value goes up. And then there's currency, the currency you earn in the runs that you then spend on stuff. I don't know if there's a max to some of those bonuses yet either. The ones that aren't for, like, the coins, like the soul coins, the silver and gold soul coins, those have a max because those are the abilities. So there's a point where you just won't need those anymore. But the little red crystals that drop, those, I don't know if there's a max to that stuff. I've been kind of trying to evenly distribute them. Because every time you boost one of their bonuses, it costs twice as many to then get to the next level. So that one's rough. Am I still doing D&D campaigns? No, I haven't in a long time. Last time I played D&D was over on the Dungeon Scrawlers channel in a mini campaign with my character, Bandy. And I don't think they were hoping that campaign would come back this year. I don't know if it is. It really depends on the Dungeon Scrawlers, like, because they do a lot of different campaigns and they alternate campaigns, and it just depends on how long it's going to take to finish campaigns and who's in there, who of the Dungeon Scrawlers is in the queue to do the next one. I don't know. When I ever get to play Bandy again, I believe me, I will be telling everybody because I had a lot of fun. And then sometimes, the last couple of years when they've done Extra Life in the fall, I've gotten to play D&D there. So again, if I ever get to invited to play somewhere, I will let people know. How long can a campaign go for? Honestly, decades. That's not a, like, D&D doesn't really have an end. Now that doesn't, it just depends on that. Like, there's pre-written campaigns and stuff that you can get from, and of course, once you finish them, but then they're done. But that doesn't mean that you can have campaigns that just are kind of endless, or you can have a mini campaign like what I did with Dungeon Scrawlers, and I've got those up on my YouTube, or links to the playlists on my YouTube. But yeah, it's just depends. How many animals does a dupe shiny represent? It's supposed to be 125. Like if you dupe a shiny on an evergreen, you get 125 animals. Now, I don't know how they represent that in. That's a question you have to. How they represent that in that notary? I don't know. What if all the players die? That's called a TPK or total party kill. That's rarer than I like. If you have an antagonistic dungeon master, that might happen. Or if you as a group aren't really taking things seriously, that can happen. But that's not usually the thing that happens. Most of the places I know, if one of the character dies, they just roll another character and introduce it to the party somehow, and you just move on with the same person with it playing a different character. Any VODs of previous campaigns? Yeah, hold on. What's that? Hey, I remember the command. There you go. Let me pull it up. And so the old, like the top of that list is playing with Mars. Storyteller Mars is a dungeon master with Trevor, who used to be the writer for Idle Champions, and Lee Goldberg, who used to make pancakes of Idle Champions, and Ali Deichman, who was co-host of a podcast. There is a clean-shaven Mars in there for a reason, for like role-playing reasons. But the Beast of Blemish starts the kind of the Storyteller Mars things. It doesn't have that name because we did it as like we were just doing a charity stream, and then got asked by CNE if we wanted to continue that story on their channel back when it was a quarterly day of streaming, so once every 3 months. And so we did that for a while. So then there was Twice in a Blue Moon, and then A Fistful of Death, and then a 2-parter, One Man's Trash and One Man's Treasure. And that was kind of the end of that. They got into doing like live plays with like famous people, content creators and stuff, that not us. They started spending way more money on it. Yeah. So then after that, you get Bust My Lair. That was an extra life with Keith Amon from The Monsters Know What They're Doing. And then the next year it was Second Breakfast Club and a monster hit. Second Breakfast Club was an all halfling band, basically. That was named like where everybody's character was designed after the movie The Breakfast Club, in the sense of the character, like, you know, there's like the smart one and the pretty one and like that kind of stuff. Then whereas Trevor ran a one shot, Infinity's on the Go. And then the campaign that I did, The Affairs of Wizards, starts with Justice for Beagly Weekly, episode 1. How many episodes did we get to? I don't even remember. 13. And then the debrief, but honestly, so that 14. Because I think we went back and did some stuff in that one. So there's like 14 episodes. And then the last one I did, Extra Life one, was Cotillion of Blades. That one's really cool. That was like a Feywild. I did a special nod. My character was a special nod to Idle Champions in that one. Yeah, those are all in there. That's all the stuff I've done on stream. I've played in a handful of off-stream games. Yeah, 2 or 3. And then I've DM'd. I have a one-shot that I was working on that I DM'd for like 3 different groups of people. I did that off stream though. I don't know, maybe one day I'll stream that one. Critical Role is celebrating 10 years. Yeah. One shots can be a few hours. Yeah. A one shot could just be 2 to 3 hours. One shot basically means you sit down and you do the whole story in one shot. Critical Role, though, has been doing multiple campaigns. So they just finished campaign 3, and 3 campaigns stretched across 10 years. But in the same world with stories that linked and you continued and with different and then in this last in the third campaign, all the different groups ended up meeting up and having to interact, and it was wildness. It was really good. Usual cause of a TPK is Dungeon Master is sick of your shit. Yeah, honestly. But hey, look, I was started a campaign once. I have a homebrew world. And I started a campaign that had Mars in it. It had TTRP gifts. It had Lee Goldberg, and I want to say Jadisero Trontonian. Which one? Why do I get those two mixed up right now? Had another member of the Idle Champions community in it. And it stopped because of scheduling. Scheduling is the real BBEG in D&D. That's what really stops it. What stops a campaign is scheduling, not TPKs. But I mean, Mars almost got permakilled in the second fight. I think it was the second fight. First fight was like episode 1, like the first sit down that we had. But Mars decided to just be like, to pretend he was ignorant of what's going on. His character's ignorant of what's going on when he sat on a chair that was a mimic at level 1, and he almost got permakilled. Like, if I had been a mean DM, he would have been permakilled. Like, his character would have just been gone. I'm not a mean DM. He made bad decisions. And I made sure he understood that he made bad decisions by knocking his ass unconscious. But after that, I didn't kill him. Yeah. I've never, Orden, you're talking about like have a proper area to play in. I've only ever played online, so you don't have to let any of that kind of stuff limit you. I played my first game like 2019, maybe. I've only played online. Did your character constantly have gems? No. I'll spoil it because this has been out for a while. I played a fairy riding a wolf. I played a fairy riding a wolf because the fairy riding a whatever is such a staple of Idle Champions that I created a fairy that rides a wolf. And that was my character. And that was a fun campaign because it demonstrated how D&D doesn't have to be about combat. Like, there was definitely combat, like the Dungeon Master had set up things for combat, but we non-combat rolled our way out of a lot of stuff, which is great. I thought that was super fun. I made a combat character, but oh well. Yeah. Sometimes the TPK comes to the DM misjudging the party's power level. Sure, but there's ways a DM can back out of that. There just are. You don't have to be... the way to think about it, this is why I just homebrewed my own world, is the way to think of the way I feel like as a dungeon master should go into thinking about what they're doing is you are God. You are the god of that world, and everything that happens in it. And if you make a mistake, that doesn't mean you have to take it out on your party. You can just, oh, hey, the turns out that boss had less health than you thought, and you finished it off. But I mean, you were nowhere near finishing it off. Like, there's all kinds of ways you can get out of those situations. You don't have to, like with the mimic. I didn't have like the mimic when the mimic knocked Mars unconscious. I could have just had the mimic keep wailing on Mars, trying to eat Mars, and they would have. Instead, I had the mimic just immediately turn and start attacking the rest of the party. So Mars lived, right? Like you make choices as your DM, as a DM. You decide what happens. It isn't up to like it doesn't always have to be like, well, what would the monster do? Well, no. Just in the same way, it doesn't have to be, well, what would my character do? No. You're playing a game with people. You're telling a story with like it's a group narrative. Go along with it. Yeah, bad decisions can create memorable moments. And that was a decision that if we had played that campaign to its end, I don't know if Mars's character would have ever sat in a chair again without testing to see if it was a mimic first. Like ever. Ever. I think that would have been an RP point he made the whole time. Like, is this a like poke it with a dagger? Does it move around? Okay, it seems solid. I'll sit down. Like, yeah, which is fair. And you rolling badly can be a wonderful narrative moment, right? It doesn't have to mean that the party TPKs. Tried playing alone, it's just not the same. I have nothing to compare it to. I have absolutely nothing to compare it to. I've been looking a lot at like virtual tabletops for those who are like they see people stuff typing VTT in chat. That's a virtual tabletop. There are multiple interesting options out there now. People are doing some neat stuff with it. But as with all software, whenever it gets a patch, it can break everything you've done with it if you're not careful. So yeah, you always got to take them with a bag of salt. With a bag of salt. Not how that phrase goes, but that's in this case. Yeah, having an NPC swoop in to save the party, like an unexpected ally joins you, or another enemy comes in and starts a fight with the enemy you're fighting. Like, you have to be an ally. Yeah, just stay away from the. It was all a dream. You died. Oh, it was all a dream. You wake up and you're no. Everybody. I mean, I guess you could do whatever you want to do, but that's also the same kind of y'all wake up in prisons in case. It doesn't have to. There's a lot of other ways. There's a lot of other ways you can resolve those kinds of situations. That's kind of where your imagination as a dungeon master can be shown most creatively. I go to my middle child's in D&D club at school. That's awesome. And the guy who runs the club comes to me for advice from time to time. One time he said the kids were bored. I asked him what happened in the last few sessions. 5 sessions where they were in a single battle. One of the players had been stuck in a hold person spell for 2 of those sessions. That's why would combat take that long? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. That sounds problematic. I mean, and here's the thing with kids. Like you don't have to teach. Like kids don't have to be murder hobos, and they might not even want to be murder hobos. So coming up with narrative ways that kids can get out of situations. Can they talk someone out of it? Can they stealth their way through stuff? Can they like they have magic items that let them do things that normally they wouldn't get away with. There's a reason this stuff is enjoyable in books and TV shows and movies. Throw it into your D&D game too, right? So Owlbear Rodeo is the one that Keith likes to use when we have those charity games. It's okay. I'll be honest, like the D&D Beyond Maps is really easy and straightforward. I've used Roll20 before. I mean, there's lots of options. It's just you kind of got to find what you enjoy the most. There's some fancy stuff out there though that make it more like playing a video game. Yeah, it's interesting. Like the one shot I have, it's, you know, create your characters, but it's technically it's not a one shot. It's a a vignette. It's a historical event in my homebrew world. It happened in the past. So, you know, there's lots of things that could happen. Ultimately, it's a bit on rails, but because it's not a campaign, it's a one shot. You know, you're just sitting down and you're playing it. Well, technically, it's like a two shot. I've tried to shorten and adjust it. It's like 5 to 6 hours. Now, technically, you can't sit down and play that in one shot, which we have done. But if I were to ever stream it, it would probably be like in 2-3 hour segments. We do not have enough damage. Can't believe I'm going to say this, but Volo to the rescue. Ugh. Some DMs just can't deal with the unexpected. So I can't do things the easy way. The very first time I DM'd, it was in my homebrew world in this one shot that I created from scratch. I can't do things the easy way. My players were Lauren Urban, Obo Lauren, Dylan Wilkes, who is the the head of marketing for C&E Games, Jennifer Kretschmer, aka Dreamwish Jen, who's a live play professional, and I mean that like she used to get paid to do live plays. Crap, somebody else. Oh my god, I can't remember. Who else was there? Oh no. First one shot. Hold on, I got the list here. Maybe that was it. No, there's one other person. Hold on. Why? Oh, Discord, why you gotta do this to me? Hold on. Turn off streamer mode. Give me full names back. Why? Oh, Trontonian. Trontonian was there. And the thing of like be prepared for the unexpected. I had the party get attacked by Vrox, Vrocks. Jen like befriended it with a very good roll. And suddenly it went from like combat to, oh, let's just have a chat. And I was like, this isn't how this is supposed to go. And like Dylan, instead of fighting, decided to like race towards this other thing and ignore it altogether and was going to, and I was like, oh, I didn't expect that to happen, but I just kind of had to roll with everything that was going on. Pun intended. Because the players are doing things that when I had planned that out, I had not expected any of that. Yeah, I made it through, but boy, like I had a set idea of Oh, then they'll probably do this, and then they'll probably do this, and nope, nope. So you just kind of have to have loose, rough ideas of how things might go, and then be ready to pivot. Be ready to pivot. Because D&D, the one thing D&D isn't is structured in a way that everything's always going to go like this every time. That's a book. If you want that kind of story, write a book or a video or a very on rails video game, because D&D isn't necessarily where your story needs to be told. All right, Orden. Thanks for hanging out. Ishii, in regards to Ishii's winner takes all, I used to be able to keep it empty by running her as a bud setter in a group a couple times a week. She maxed out. I've had her a few different group makeups today, trying to work them down. She burned 2 stacks. Did something change? I feel like you got lucky if you were doing it in a pushing group. The only way I can keep her at 0 is if I put her in a background party or do it offline. So she's gonna have a lot of stacks, because over the weekend I was running a Jarlaxle and Strahd. She isn't allowed there. Or I don't have the feed. I don't have the feed. So yeah, she's gonna go into into an overnight offline farm, and she'll get her stuff there. That's the best place to do it. Unfortunately, it is super difficult in actual pushing parties. Yeah, I mean, there's just a chance, Mylar. It's not guaranteed. I need to. I don't know why I'm doing this the hard way. We just need to get the pushing group in at that point. Trying to swap things one at a time isn't being very efficient. Much better. Much better. Back. So yeah, I mean, Ishii only has a chance to loot her item levels, so even if you go through 14 boxes, doesn't mean she's going to get it. There's no guarantee on it. So what, 5%. So 1 in 20 chance, but no guarantee. So even after 20 bosses, you might not have looted one. Even after 100, you might not have looted one. She has to actually be the one that kills the boss also. It's a super restrictive thing, but it works in the background or offline. Just because of the way those simulations run. It works more consistently, I should say. If you prepare the motivations of, I'm going to say NPCs. I'm thinking that was an autocorrect thing. Otherwise, I don't understand that abbreviation. And a bit of the context, it's much easier to react to the unexpected rather than trying to prepare all the possibilities. Oh yeah, you can't ever prepare all the possibilities. So I have learned, I know what's going on in my world. I know what the major NPC, like the NPCs they're being introduced to, want in general, like what are they what they're looking for, and how they're going to react to people around them. Like I know they're okay. So in the example of the one shot I wrote, um, the players will meet a character unexpectedly in a forest. Um, and I know that character. I know, like, I could play that character. I literally, when I created that character, I created a character sheet for them with some basic backstory and context instead of just making it a generic NPC. It is a playable character. So I know what they do. I know what they like. I know their abilities. Um, and I know the kind of constraints they exist under uh in their world. So I know the way that character would interact no matter what would be going on. And then for like the enemies, I know what the enemies care about. Some of them are a lot of them are very one tone. Some are more like one is a bit more complex. Um, well, two of them are complex, but one of them you're not actually fighting. Uh, so, but yeah, other than that, people can explore and get through stuff and figure stuff out and Pinjay's the NPC's friend. Okay. I didn't know what that was. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why if it's in the background, it's not working. I don't know why. I would say just bad luck streak. Bound to happen eventually. Right? Bound to happen eventually. Go away, Zargash. I have another one shot I've been talking about. It's in the works for a long time. It has been in the works for years. I've just never sat down and finished it. It's more a somewhat humorous take on like noir mysteries. It's a murder mystery. It's like a noir murder. It's a kind of a humorous take on a noir murder mystery in D&D. Um, like the players don't have to play that way, but there's an NPC that effectively functions as if he's in a note, like the old the detective that, you know, in the noir stories, that's, you know, someone walks in, it was a dark and stormy night, like that whole cliche. That's that character. um and the whole one shot, the only reason I created the one shot is because of a joke that got made during my first one shot. I immediately wrote down, I'm like, oh, I gotta write a one shot. I gotta write a one shot that's centered on this. And so I've started, I've just never finished. I have a whole list of like, I basically have a notepad document in my notepad plus plus. I have a document that has like inspirational ideas for one shots, and some are a little more fleshed out than others. Yeah. I've never sat down and like tried to actually work them all out because I don't, I don't get to play D&D regularly. I mean, doing I did a little work to set up the campaign that I was going to do with that group. And that would have fleshed out, like, over time, I would have fleshed out a ton of my homebrew world and stuff just based off having to figure that out. Notice we've got some enemies that are spawning all the way back here behind the party at times. Uh, that's the Whittled Deacon Melf effect. Often. Go away, Stardash. Some of them are dying back here behind the party. Dibs on being a duck error coker detective. Anyone who writes is like 500 times more ideas than actually written stories. Yes. There's just there's no time. There's not enough time. Yeah. It's very easy for me to come up with ideas, but it's very hard for me to sit down, to find the time and the motivation to sit down and write them, just to fully flesh them out. I actually I've spent more time thinking about them in my head. So I know a lot of stuff. I've just never sat down and put it on paper. And I'm sure that a lot of people relate. Like what's worse is, I think I mentioned this. I have a list of video games I'd love to make. And that's not just like, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A list of 10, all set in my homebrew world. And it's not just that I know the names of them all. I know what they would all be named. I know the stories. I've thought about how they would all progress. I've just never written any of it down. I've just never written any of it down. Hate it. Hate it. Such a pain. There we go. Finally finished that one. We're getting into the hard stuff. This is not good for us. This means we're actually reaching kind of the limits of our ability to push deep in regular adventures. Look at this. We need 950, folks. We've only ever gotten to like 1083, I think. And that was in an event, right? While Beyond the Witchlight puts a strain on us. We're kind of reaching like the power cap of the progression on this account. What was that there for? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. Feel attacked right now. Yeah. Well, it's just the point now where we're getting into stuff that even when we put in our pushing group, like the progress is slow. Progress slows down quite a bit. Let alone any, if we have to do any restrictions that are this high, it's just not going to happen. Which is unfortunate because one of the variants we really want to do for patrons is here, but it's up there. So we don't even have the power to attempt it, unfortunately. I'd hope by the time we got here we would have accrued enough power, but we just haven't. Technically, we could do Blue She's Unlock, or we could attempt Blue She's Unlock. Whether or not we could do it is a whole other thing. I wonder if that's something we should like try this week. We kind of skipped Cruxes. Or wait. No, Cruxes is Rixes. So Blue She's is in Witchlight. So we could try Blue She's, but I don't know. Up to 9,999 gems. Wow. We converted some favor in. Okay. Conversion's got us some. Not a lot. Oh, okay. Increase the effectiveness of healing effects. You're kidding, right? Good. And I didn't really want that one, but all right. Okay, speed potions. Main account got stopped at 1525. Okay, gotta get to 1600. So AFK to 1525 is not bad. Not bad at all, honestly. What is my DPS? Oh, Scorpio. That explains a lot. Still don't have the damage. Oh, no, there it went. Okay. I have to change cores. Get Zorbu the damage they need. Interesting. What do we want, like the dexterous core? Or the unaffiliated core? Everybody's here is affiliated, basically. So dexterous, maybe? I don't know. See when it stops again. Unless there's a new dungeon soup? Minor Strony. Oh. I don't... What's a dwarf's favorite soup? Minor Strony. Yeah, there you go. Dad joke of the day. D&D dad joke of the day. Courtesy of Lurking Rider. All right, 10,700. You need 12,500 to do that guaranteed feat thing. Okay, I need more damage. Let's go to Dex. I wanna Dex you up. Oh yeah. I mean, it started off in an E16 damage gain, so we'll see how that turns out. Can't believe we're going 950 areas now. On day... Oh, I didn't put the day up. Hold on. Just realized. Oh no. 34. Day 34. A base adventure is requiring us to go 950 areas. All right. All right, sure. Getting closer on the main account. 1568. Oh no. Oh, this. I've got so many potions on this account. It's a little ridiculous now. Their core is better for gold find, yes. You didn't ask which one it was. I'm not actually sure which one it is. But there are some that don't have good gold find, and there's some that have better gold find. Definitely are. That's not a, again, I didn't make a guide for that because other people did, so I don't have that information to reference. And because I haven't sat down and like processed it like into a guide format, it hasn't stuck in my head either. So yeah, I don't know which one. But check Encyclopedia Modronica would probably have that for you. Oh. Familiars of stealing the boss kills. Oh, with the Mylar with fire breaths. You can come to this page and turn that off. Like uncheck the box. And then it won't happen. Lurking Rider says modest core is best for gold find. Fast core second best. I tend to just use the fast core for everything on my main account. So. $450 and we've already soft capped all the champions, and we've got to go 500 more areas. Ooh. J-Dog says the strong core should be the best now by a slight margin because they added the last node, but I see your gold find is higher than mine even without gold find champions. Part of that could be my favor, right? Find all sources. So the first source, favor. Second source of gold find, like straight up gold find. Potions. Third source, champions. Fourth source, maybe some global blessings. I don't know. Fifth source, maybe some patron perk, global patron perks. I don't know. Sixth source, your Modron core. Sixth source is Modron core. So there's 6 places that you can grab that kind of stuff off the top of my head. That seems it's probably it. There's 600. There's 1600 on Volo's Guide to Grumpy Guys is done. So I did that with Kreidel and Briv up front, Ontreus and Astarion in the second column, Strongheart in the third, Zorbu DPS and Mehen in the fourth column, and Gale and Jim in the fifth column. Anybody who's curious. It did require me to switch to the Dexterous core to get all the way there. All right. That is all of my event stuff done on the main account. Nice. Tier 4 complete for both. Awesome. 4,500 scales waiting for me when the event ends. I should technically now gem farm for like the next hour, like for the rest. Yeah. Okay. Okay. It's like, okay. Riv gem farm, go. I'll need to put a filter on that, probably. I don't have a filter for that one. So you're out of luck, folks. I don't have a filter set up for the picture-in-picture. I can turn it off, though. Probably what I'll do. Four EO6 versus 2 EO6 strong versus modest. Okay, so the strong core is double the modest core. That's an actual double. Okay. What's the modest versus the fast? Like, where does the fast core come into that equation? I don't know if a double 1.2. Okay, so not that far off. The 4 times the gold if I use a strong core, which is fine. I mean, that's actually my pushing core when I'm using Carlock DPS. So hot swapping Dirty Gold Find, then it just happens to work out that that's going to be the best overall for me. Anyway, yay me. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Carlock wins again. Oh boy! All right, 6:30 and we slowed down. Let's get the pushing group in. I heard they found the missing node and it actually nerfed the core a little bit, which I think is glorious. After everybody complaining for so long, because it didn't have to exist. They could have been like, meh, it is what it is. That's just how that core works. Instead, they went in and they added it in, finally, after years of people pestering them. And then it kind of nerfs the core a little bit. And how's the strong core unlocked? Strong core is 500,000 gems. And it's this button down here. This button you wouldn't even look for. Buy additional cores. Strong core, 500,000 gems. Unaffiliated core, 500,000 gems. Dexterous core, 500,000 gems. Not something you would do early. It's later on when you're in gem farming and you're earning 100,000 plus gems a day. Then in 5 days of gem farming, you could pick up those cores if you wanted, right? But that's pretty deep in, and they're only going to help your pushing groups. But one thing you can do with them is level them up in the background and get free Modron chests. You're getting 10k per day. I mean, yeah, that's so yeah. You don't want to think about that anytime in the near future. Yeah. I don't know what we're at today per day. What I know is it's pretty easy for us if we're doing base adventures to get 50k gem feeds. So we're doing really good. Like here, we're up to 12 again. I think we've made 30. I think we might be at around 50k a day, but our day is only 5 hours. We're in like 10,000 gems an hour. Is that what we're doing? Wow. But that's from completing content. Be clear. Oh, I shouldn't be in here. Habit. We're going to do this for the first time. For the first time ever on this account, we're just going to go. We're going to go purchase the contents. 25 chests. It's going to guarantee us a fee. See how this works. Yeah, I like that there is a confirmation dialogue. I got Shadowheart's fee. Okay. Okay. And it tells you where the item levels. Oh, you actually are getting item levels distribution. It's telling you where it's going on evergreens. Okay, cool. Now you know, and knowing's half the battle. Yeah, I think on this account I'm gonna do that to get feats. I think it makes more sense. I think it makes a lot more sense than buying the chests, and having random odds. Yeah, Split the Party 3 gets you your third core. You're going to have to buy one of those 500k cores to automate 4 party. Or there's a cash core if you happen to want that, but only people who are really into the Heroes of Erois, I feel like, would want that core. And even then, I don't know that it's the best for them. Most of them don't get automation until 3. Yeah. The Split the Party 3 core is the magic core, and it's, in my opinion, the garbage core, but that's because it has no survivability. It has no health nodes. It's it's a glass cannon core. It's high damage, low survivability. I'm not a fan on, but some people like that playstyle. Right? Is that what the Eroa's core should be renamed? The cash core? No, but it is the only one that you have to buy. You need 4 or more of the Heroes of Erois for that core to be better for Lucius than the Magic core. There you go. Does the Erois core actually have survivability? I don't pay attention. I have not paid attention. Yeah, you'd think, right? But it may just okay, it does. Okay. I was like, it may just rely on the fact that you've got a lot of tanks sharing health. Like, I don't know. Why I asked. That's why I asked. Yeah, I liked the idea of affiliation based cores. Oh, we're in an ad break. I will wait. I actually want to have this conversation with everybody and not just with the subscribers. Oh. All right, we're back. Thaviel, I don't know. I don't see anything in chat, so the bot didn't tell me anything. It's not the bot, it's Twitch. Shafted your comment, but I don't know why. So I like the idea of affiliation cores. I don't think that the way they implemented the Erois core, it was strong when that season came out because the buffs from the core were basically duplicated in the buffs from the season. But I feel like that's how the core should have been. Like, it should have been basically double what it had, so that for that affiliation, it is without any doubt the best core, and it makes them really shine. Because, and the reason I like that concept, I don't think it should be for every affiliation, but I would have loved to see them play with that concept for the Companions of the Hall, to actually, like, with a level 15 companion core, have Dritz to be a really, really good DPS. If with that party, like, you'd have to have all the members. Yeah. I think that would have been neat. I think that would have been really neat. Yeah. Like I think that's how you could have reworked Dritz with a Companions of the Hall core. Basically. By having a node that literally activates a buff for like just specifically just for Dritz. Even though Caddy Bree could be a DPS in that as well, but with Dritz being a pure DPS, it would be about focusing the damage on him. I think it could have been really neat. But I think because that core got so much negative feedback, I don't think they're ever going to do that. And yeah, the Erois core is still, if you're someone who spins on the game, the Erois core is a viable purchase if the price is less than you would pay for 14 Modron chests. Because that's what it's going to generate when you level it up. That's the way you think of the Erois core. As messed up as that sounds, think of it as a way to create 14 Modron chests. And if it's less than what 14 would cost, then it's a good price. Affiliation-based cores were interesting, though. They should make them boost more general stuff that affiliation has. There are lots of magic users, be a kind of magic core. Well, no, then it's not an affiliation core. Like we already have a magic core. Like so for me, that's not what I would want to see out of an affiliation core. I would literally want an affiliation core to be the more of these, you know, when you build a formation around this affiliation, this is the core. It's going to be better than every other core. It won't be good for anyone other than that affiliation. I like that kind of specificity, because it lets you like really tailor the core and the buffs to what that party needs. And functions as another way to kind of rework that affiliation. You think we should be able to buy 50 Modron chests for 500,000 gems? No. But that's what you're doing. That's what you're buying 14 when you're buying those 500,000 gem cores. If you're not going to use them, you're at least getting 14 Modron chests for 500,000 gems. That's why I said when you start generating 100,000 gems a day or more, picking up those Modron cores and getting them churning in the background and leveling up is going to generate you Modron chests, and you can't buy Modron chests with gems, so you know that's a valuable thing at a certain point, right? But they'll never sell Modron chests for gems. Gems are just too easy. I know early on and even in the mid game they're not easy to come by, but you hit a 4-jump Briv and you're doing over 1 million gems a day. They can't sell Modron chests. Problem then is that you almost can't use that core in any variants or patrons, since you most likely won't be able to get the whole affiliation. But that could, so I want to point out, I did say I don't think that they built that core right. You know, there's things that could be done. You can get wild with affiliation cores. I don't necessarily think that they has to be available for all of those. But if it was way more damage, and then it's still viable, it could be viable, but that doesn't mean you're going to have to use it. People want to pick one group and use that group for everything, and that's not how this game works. The idea is when you can use that group, that's the core for it, right? That's the idea. It doesn't have to work everywhere. But when it does work, you want it to really work, right? But that doesn't mean that you couldn't do stuff like, you know, if they're not going to rework those champions, then you make the core be the rework and have it allow, like there could be a party bus feature in the core, right? That allows you to bring that, you know, pick one champion, and as long as so-and-so qualifies, everybody else does. Like You could do that in a core. There's nothing that says you can't do that in a modern core. Like an affiliation core. I don't think that they did that affiliation core well. Yeah. For a paid core, you'd want a core that's better than others in a niche area, like generating event tokens or boosting favor gain. Well, they've talked about what they refer to as like a challenge core, where you could select a challenge, like it's a like you hook up a node that gives you a bonus you couldn't get anywhere else. So like maybe more event token generation, but also gives you a negative. And you're choosing the trade-off with the challenge core. You're choosing the challenge to get more of something. They've talked about that. Boosting favor gain is literally just gold find, though. I just want to be clear. I would love a gold find core. I would absolutely love a gold find core. I don't know that they would ever do that, but I think that would be amazing. Where gold find is the focus. Ask comes more about your suggestion for Companions of the Hall core rather than... Well, so for Companions of the Hall, they automatically go everywhere in Icewind Dale. So you would at least get to use the Companions of the Hall everywhere in Icewind Dale with a Companions core. I think that core could also, be a way to unlock access to the Sword Coast as well. Because Icewind Dale makes sense for Wolfgar and where you start with the Companions of the Hall, but the Companions of the Hall end up in the Sword Coast. So, yeah. But yeah, like the challenge core, depending on what they put into it and how it works, it could be an interesting thing. They've talked a little bit about it, but obviously it hasn't happened. Right? Obviously it hasn't happened. We got 7 minutes left. So it was 30 minutes of potions to go about 1,000 areas. But we're running out of damage. Damage. Yeah, we're pushing the edge. Living on the edge. And unfortunately, it's like I can't swap to a better core. This one's epic. There's only one non-epic node hooked up. It's great. Background party loops are fine and all, but they probably won't get you to 15. Technically, they will. It just takes a long time. They're setting that background parties not advance to the next area. So you would have to test that. I don't know why you'd ever want to do that, first off. But if there's something that you feel like, I don't think that's going to do what you want it to. Turn off always auto progress while offline. And then when you're in the background party, unclick auto progress on the area you want it to sit on, and then see. But I feel like it has to maybe be both of those. 5,000 enemies to type in the background. I'm gonna tell you that, like, so what I found sounds like you're doing is this kind of stuff, right? Your patron stuff. I highly recommend you loop it. You just let it run a loop. Is it going to take a little longer? Sure, but it's going to collect lots of stuff. So like patron, I loop in Mad Wizard. It's going to do humanoid. It's going to do everything except undead in terms of types of enemies. It might take a while, but it'll get there. And for undead, you can do Terror in the Dark. But you don't just want to get this kill count. You want to also get the Barovian coins earned from free plays maxed out. And you want to earn gems along the way. Always be gem farming, right? But yeah, if you want to try it, if that's what you want to do, I think that you need to uncheck the box that says always auto progress when offline, because there might be some interaction there. And then unclick the auto progress on, and then see if that works. But remember, in the background, not going to be a true comparison like trying to farm in the foreground. So like the active party. I don't think they'll ever give us random chests. I don't think that's ever going to happen. A hunter core would make sense, right? For people with the favorite foe stuff. Absolutely. I mean, a breaker core would be neat to give you extra credit on chunking through armored stuff. Like I think there's lots of room to play with different types of cores. They've just stopped. After Seasons was where they were playing that. They were basically guaranteed us every 3 seasons you're going to get a new core. And when Seasons went to live on a farm upstate, the cores went with them. All the core ideas. Well, the method of delivery of new cores, in a way. And they haven't come up with a new delivery method yet. I could always throw Minsk in the party to add on it. Sure, I could also do that with Viconia as well, but that's, I don't know, but that requires more familiars. And that's not something people always have. So I give tips based off the easiest ways to do things that aren't like, hey, you've got to have a bunch of familiars. Like, but yeah, I tend to just set it up on like a Monday, and then on a Wednesday I'll check it again and see if it finished stuff, and then maybe Friday check again and move between patrons, and usually it all gets done. Yeah, I think a more generic course isn't for an affiliation though, Alpha Crawl. I think those are neat ideas, but I don't think that's for an affiliation core. The affiliation core needs to be specific. And then you keep the generic ideas for generic cores. You could have a dual wield core. We're so close, 950, but we're having issues. Damagey issues. So what do we need here? I know what we need. We need to respec Calyx into his buffing setup. That's what we need. That's what we need. We're missing some power from that. I don't think that's ever. I think we're going to need more than that, but that's a place to start. Yep, yep. Clearing here already when we weren't before. Switch Calyx feats. I don't have enough feats to switch anything. I don't. Who do you think? Oh well, I guess we got a 25. When did we get that 25? What account do you think I'm on? To be clear, what account do you think I'm on? Also, Zealous, people want to know what a dungeon soup is. Nobody understood what's going on when you said you were going to be back because there was a new dungeon soup out. Yeah, I get that, Mylar, but I don't. Diana is nowhere near. Even doing that wouldn't generate the kind of buffs that Volo's generating. Yeah, I don't. This is my new account, Celeste. I don't have all the feats. Can't get them all. We're just not generating enough income for that. That doesn't help, Zealous. I don't know what. I don't know what that is. We don't know what that is. Is this like a online content of some kind? I don't know. Would I focus on getting 3 or more epics on Vlithrin in the event, or split them to get 2+ epics on Vlithrin? So if you're going to hunt for, I like to distribute things roughly equally. So currently I have Vlithrin and Mehen with 2 epics, 4 blues. It worked out that way. That was great. YouTube web shorts, okay. But with Vlithrin, there's one specific epic you want, and it's the Pantheon of Blessings. This one, I got it. Super lucky. If you have this one, I don't know that there's a need to chase any of the others. And you can focus on your other champions and getting them epics. On Mehen, you want Grumpy and Gruff. Oh, would you look at that? I got both of those. The rest, not really important. Not really as important. These are the pre-stackers. He's got 2 pre-stackers, and she's got 1, and that's this one. So once you have those, you don't really have to worry about those. You can work on other champions. So when you aren't able to full epic a champion in an event, you just don't have that kind of resource stacking yet in terms of bounty contracts. Then you want to figure out what's the most important epic. And if you get lucky and get that early, move on to other champions. But in general, I try to give roughly equal number of epics to each if it's possible. If somebody just gets really lucky, like Caddy Bree did and got full epic, I don't try to chase that. But then I'll try to keep everybody's item levels roughly the same. So Vlithrin has 18 average item levels, Mehen has 22 right now. So if I was gonna open more chests for those 2, I'd open them for Vlithrin to try to get hers up a little bit. I'm saving my bounty contract. I'm saving my tokens for other champions. Look at that. Look at these champion enemies going right past the formation. How dare they? How dare they? So yeah, it just kind of depends. There we go. Something's wrong in Witchlight that lets enemies run past the formation, because we haven't run into that issue before. And it's not like we've changed Whittle. And we don't have a Deacon in right now, so something's broken. Do I play any instruments? No. Have I heard Lauren play the oboe? Yes. Lauren puts clips of herself playing the oboe online sometimes. So I've heard them there. I haven't heard her in person. Okay, so we're making our way downtown here. Oh no. Oh no. It didn't work. Pixie soaking in a teapot. I forgot about that one. Why is she up here? That doesn't make any sense. Why are they stuck up here? Oh, they're dead now. It's fine. They're dead now. It's fine. E289. We're getting we're inching ever closer to the elusive E300 mark for Ishii. I don't know what's going on with these enemies getting launched behind the party. Doesn't make sense. He'll Thorn Whip, but it shouldn't pull them behind it wouldn't put them behind him. Client restart, yeah, I'll probably fix it. but I don't want it because we're almost done. A, we're 2 areas away, and B, time for dinner. It's time for dinner. Great. Okay. Is that enough? Is that enough? That was enough. It's enough? It's enough. It's alright. Kellic, why are you... I got told I should cosplay as Kellic, and yeah, that's probably a cosplay I could pull off. But Kellic, why are you up here? If we knock you back, maybe you don't get knocked back. Okay. Artemis is dead already. Why is Artemis dead? Is Kellic AoEing the party? Yes, he is. He's randomly attacking. Okay. Fire explosion. Yeah. Okay. All right. We could Gale. I'm trying to think of how we can make this better. But I don't know. I don't know that Gale's gonna do better than Halsin. That's who he'd have to replace. Everybody else is big time. Everybody else is big time. No, Vlithrin is not going near this party. We need damage. Survivability doesn't mean anything if I don't have any damage. Vlithrin isn't going to give me any damage. Yeah, no, we're just dead. Okay. So that did not do it. Okay. Oh, what is... I mean, I know the easy answer, but I don't want to use the easy answer. Yeah. All right, well, we're going to have to use the easy answer. We're going to have to use the easy answer. Because we're basically out of time. Time for the easy button. What's the easy button? Carlock. Carlock. They just dumped on him. Just dumped on him. All right. Beware the Jabberwock, Area 1000. I don't know, but we will. I guess we will attempt that tomorrow. Coasting to the finish is kind of the holy grail of patron variants. But there's no way. I mean, it's Area 1000 just to start. You can't change your formation once you build it. Well, not after 25, Area 25. But it's like, what, 1100 to start for Mert? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So let's go over here. This is currently running Jarlaxle. Oh, hey. Finally triggered those. I was like, why didn't those show up earlier? And it just... Game's weird. All right, let's get out of this. And we will go to Mert. With Mert, we're going to want... Wait, there's Mert. Oh, Mert Grand Tour. Mert Grand Tour... Here, Ishi Farm. Oh, and 50. Snooze the ad. We're not going to be here that long. All right. So this is what I do in my overnight. And it's going to have... that's not... It didn't load in. Great. Thanks. Thanks, game. This is what I do in my overnight. And it's got Ishii scavenging and it's got Sheila scavenging. She's at 6,600 out of 8,600, so we'll see if we can cap her out. So they'll do this overnight, and they're going to earn me patron stuff while they do it. Tomorrow we will come back and we'll see if we can finish that 1,000. I feel like we should be able to. Well, I don't know. We're going to try it. We're going to try it. We're going to try to finish off the Witchlight. Maybe we try to unlock Blushi. I don't know. I think we're at the point where this account is basically coming to its conclusion in terms of playing it on stream. Yeah. So we blew through. We've never gone this far before. We've never bothered completing this kind of content before. Yeah. So thanks for hanging out. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.